Okay, so done. So again, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our tips in real estate due diligence. This is your broker, Samuel Lau. So allow me to start with a quote. We believe everyone have a chance to grow in real estate business. Kaya today, in our Zoom, meron tayong mga guest dito na licensed broker, may licensed salesperson, appraiser, tsaka real estate consultant. Pero meron din tayong mga tinatawag nating mga enterprising friends and mga other professionals na doctors, lawyers, meron tayo dito, then meron din tayong mga kaibigan, kamag-anak ng mga property owners na wanted to sell property. Or sabihin na lang natin mga property researcher natin or mga referral agents natin. So I invite them all to join our webinar. Tsaka if you watch this latter part in the YouTube, we're inviting you all to share all this one para ma-share namin yung experience namin in tips on property due diligence. Kasi kung yan din lang ang hanap buhay natin, if you're going to share as property, at least mag-guided ka ano yung mga basic muna, no? So, ngayon, let's go to next slide. Ang practice po namin sa real estate is actually regulated na po ng law, no? It is an acted regulated the practice real estate service with Republic Act number 9646. Matagal na po ito. It's June 29, 2009. The only people who are allowed to practice in real estate are only the licensed real estate broker, appraiser, consultant. But of course, licensed salesperson under the supervision po ng mga broker nila. So how about yung mga enterprising friends natin? We welcome you to join our livelihood. Just contact the nearest licensed broker in your area para you can collaborate, no? Cooperate in your practice para maging legal po ang practice natin. And this Zoom webinar is really designed para to guide us everybody, no? Lalo na our enterprising friends. So, allow me to start. Sa hanap buhay kasi natin, if merong mga property, halimbawa yung friends ko, meron siyang property na pinapabenta yung property ng pensan niya or kamag-anak niya or mga colleague brokers natin, meron ano ba yung if we interview property owners, no, or seller, ano ba yung mga usual uh, mga guide questions na lang sabihin natin. So allow me to share yung mga guide questions natin if we interview people. Kasi itong mga guide questions na to, mababawasan na yung trabaho natin sa going deeper on the due diligence. Kasi itong guide question na to, it can guide us already. This is pangbaga primary to screen, to due diligence already the property, no? So allow me to ano lang. So let us say, in interview ko si Juan de la Cruz selling their property. So Mr. Juan, saan ba yung location of the property? Kasi pag nagbibigay kami ng mga listing sa buyer natin, una tinatanong ng buyer natin, saan ba yung location ng property? So, location of the property, pwede ba makahingi ng Google coordinates or Google drop-in? Next, what is the shape of the property? So, hingi tayo ng sketch plan or lot plan. Next, ano ba yung area ng property? Anong size? Are there any improvements like houses, building, warehouse, iba pa? Magkano ba selling price natin dito, Mr. Juan? Is the seller ba individual or corporation? So again, these are mga guide. You can screenshot, no? You can shot this one with your cell phone also. Next, Mr. Seller, willing po ba kayo magbayad sa seller tax like capital gain tax or creditable withholding tax, documentary stamp tax, but if the transaction is subject to VAT? So dapat malaman natin yan in advance. Seller, kailan ba yung huling nagbayad ka ng real property tax? Taon-taon ka ba nagbayad? If yes, can I have a copy? Or anong taon ba yung last ka nagbayad? Mr. Seller, is the property free of any problems? Liens, encumbrance, court cases, third-party claims, iba-iba, no? So, dapat tanong, kahit Q&A pa lang to, dapat matanong na natin sa kanila. Next, seller. So, siblings ba nagbebenta? Are you the siblings of the registered owner or mga apo? Siblings nagbebenta are all willing to sell kasi minsan we encounter hindi pala lahat willing to sell. 1/7, 3/7 lang, no? Dapat alam natin. Again, these are mga interview guide questions. So para kahit sa mga enterprising agents natin dyan, dapat bago kayo mag-endorse sa amin ng mga property sa opisina ng mga licensed broker, dapat ito na rin yung mga guide questions nyo sa mga property owner. At least ito makakatulong pagdating nyo sa mga supervising broker nyo, madali na ang trabaho ng supervising broker. So it can fast track yung selling process natin, no? So let's continue. Interview with the seller. Seller, is the property clear with tenants? If my tenant, anong klaseng tenant? Are they your relatives tenant? Sila ba'y mga rental tenants or mga informal settlers? Mr. Buyer, meron po bang road right of way, road network yung property? Is it a barangay road, subdivision road? Kasi or minsan malalaman na lang natin may road nga pero it is not donated or it is really landlocked, no? Mamaya malalaman natin yan in the proper due diligence. By the way, this is just a guide question muna, no? Because you cannot perform your proper due diligence pag hindi mo din tinatanong ito. Madodoble, matatagalan lang tayo sa due diligence process natin. Next, Mr. Seller, kindly describe your property. We're interviewing kasi the seller, no? Terrain, is it up and down, flat, hindi ba flooded, may flooded issue ba? Describe po. Seller, willing po ba kayo magbayad sa brokerage PF namin or commission 5% of the selling price? Diyan pa lang, boom, diretso na. What's the purpose of patagalin pa natin? Ayaw pala sila magbayad. Gusto nila patong-patong, OP-OP. Yun naman, mahal naman presyo nila, di ba? So, dapat alam natin na straightforward, willing sila magbayad sa PF natin. Next, Mr. Seller, are you willing to give us authority to sell? Saka, minsan dyan, saka na lang pag may buyer na kayo. Meron tayong mga paraan dyan. I will share it to you latter part, no? Why we need to ask for ATS. Next, ask if the seller is the person registered on the title. Mr. Seller, yung pangalan ba sa title, is it you or spouses ba, single, or para malalaman natin, baka kausap natin, ano lang, pinsan, baka kausap natin in-law lang, or son-in-law, or one of the siblings lang. So, dyan pa lang, interview, alam na natin, no? Para sigurado. So, we know what's the next move. Mr. Seller, ito magandang mga paraan to, ha. Mr. Seller, pag mag-submit po kami ng letter of intent to buy, to purchase, saan po namin i-address yung sulat? Pwede po mahingi yung full name, email, tsaka mobile number. Okay? And if meron ka pang madagdag na mga questions, so again, so itong mga sinishare ko sa inyo, these are mga basic questions na una kong tinatanong sa mga property owner o yung mga lumalapit sa atin na nagpapatulong to sell their property. Kasi from here, we proceed to the due diligence proper. Okay, so again, you can screenshot this. Now let's go to documents. Mr. Seller, can I ask for a scan copy or Xerox copy of your title, tax declaration of lot, pag may improvements, building kasama na rin. Then sketch plan, lot plan with technical description and tax clearance. So initially, ito din yung mga hinihingi kong documents. Part of my interview, tsaka initial documents. From here, we will proceed to tips on due diligence. Okay? So coffee break. It's a morning, so please enjoy our webinar, no? And I invite you to take your coffee also or tea. So earlier is interview process. Now we go to the tips on our due diligence. So, due diligence, ROD, Register of Deeds. Ba't kailangan natin pumunta sa Register of Deeds? By the way, I'm sharing this also to our enterprising friends na nanonood ngayon or manunood in our YouTube, no? Na ito po ang trabaho ng mga licensed broker. Kaya, hope na intindihan nyo na hindi po madali. Kaya medyo a little bit minsan stricto kami mga licensed broker kasi lisensya namin nakataya pag nagkamali po tayo. But I'm still sharing it to everybody para we can be guided. This is based on my personal experience only, no? So the register, ROD stands for Register of Deeds. Ano ba? Bakit tayo pumupunta sa Registered of Deeds pag may pinapabenta? From the Xerox copy na binibigay ng ating kliyente, we secured certified true copies, no? Sa certified true copies kasi, makukuha natin rin sa Register of Deeds, doon natin malalaman buong pages kung naka-registered, tama ba, pareho ba sa may binigay nilang photocopy, no? Then, wala bang annotation? So, tignan natin lahat ng pages. Kasi pag may mga annotation ng liens, encumbrances, or baka may kaso pa yan, so, then we discuss that to our client and then discuss with our client lawyer, no? Yung seller side, no? Para ma-address, para malaman natin ang history ng kaso or may encumbrance, may mortgage pala siya, may utang or ganon. Magkano ba? So, again, that's the important. If kailangan natin mag-trace back ng title, so it's done all in the Register of Deeds, no? Now, assessor office. Anong pinupunta natin sa assessor office? So we also, the same with ROD, we secure certified copy of the tax declaration para tignan natin if yung mga lot number ng tax declaration nagmamatch ba sa lot number ng title. Tsaka yung tax declaration may TCT number or OCT number nagmamatch din ba sa tax deck tsaka sa title. Then yung mga lot area nagmamatch din ba. Tsaka tignan din natin baka may annotation yan, no? Kasi we experience already na may annotation, walang annotation ang title but may annotation ang tax declaration. We also experience na yung lot number sa title hindi nagmatch sa lot number kasi minsan tao lang talaga nag-iinkod sa assessor's office, tinatamad-tamad, pagod na siguro, nagkakamali, human error, no? Yun. Tsaka tignan din natin anong latest statement niya. Fully paid ba siya sa real property tax niya? Yun, tinitignan din natin yan, no? So, we need to, that's the job of our assessor's office, doon na tayo pupunta. Now, clerk of court. Bakit tayo pumupunta sa clerk of court? Kasi we wanted to make sure also na yung property na binibenta natin is hindi involved in any court litigation. So, we go to the clerk of court, we bring an extra copy of the certified true copy galing sa ROD, bigay natin sa court, hingi tayo ng clearance, tanong natin para malaman natin objectives na itong property free from any court litigation, di siya kasama, no? Mahirap na nagbenta ng property kasi I experience also a property na walang annotation, malinis na malinis, pero pagdating sa clerk of court, may kaso pala siya. Okay? So again, it's not guaranteed na malinis yung certified true copy, okay na. Mahirap na magkamali. Yun pala may kaso. Okay? So dapat, personally, I experienced that one. Kaya sa lahat ng due diligence natin, isama niyo po ang clerk of court. Next, BIR. Ano po yung pinupuntahan natin sa BIR? Kasi we need to validate the TIN number ng seller. Kahit individual yan, let's not presume na non-vatable yung transaction. Kasi in my experience, in the last 4 years, I encountered 2 sellers na individual na vatable ang transaction namin. Okay? 2 transaction, or I think pangatlong transaction na pala, na individual ang owner, but vatable. Kaya, it's clear na dapat part of your due diligence, you get a validation from the BIR validate the TIN number. Minsan yung TIN number na encounter namin, siningil pa ng BIR. Sam, itong TIN number na to maraming open case. So paalala lang pag nagbenta ito ng property, pakisettle itong mga open cases. So I cannot expound on that, but nangyari po yan in one of our transactions. It's a commercial property, income generating. The seller is an individual, single proprietorship. Nagkataon pinasettle bago namin binayaran yung capital gain tax, etc. Pinasettle din yung tinatawag nating open cases niya. Ano pala yun? Commercial yun, so creditable withholding. So, but again, you need to validate. The point here in the BIR, validate the TIN number of the seller. Corporation or individual, dapat sigurado tayo bago mag-go into final transaction si buyer and seller. Next, seller identity. Pag individual, very important po. Marami na ngayon because madali ang pera sa real estate. So marami na rin yung mga identity tip, no? Madali na. So we experience already na yung nag-represent na attorney in fact, pamangkin daw ng may-ari because matanda, may sakit, bedridden, kung lahat na lang sinabi, cannot come to Cebu. Yun pala, si person na yon, fake person, dinoktor niya, magaling, dinoktor niya yung driver's license. So buti na lang, nalaman namin, hindi pala siya ang totoong attorney in fact. Okay? And I go back to that group of seller, broker, na kaibigan din natin in the industry, pati yung mga ahente niya, bakit kayo on your part, you presented to us this person na sabi niyo pamangkin ng may-ari. By the way, at that time, I'm representing on the buyer side, no? Dapat kasi tayo on the seller side, you need, kaya sinama ko ito ha, you need to know personally the person you are dealing. Dapat sigurado kayo sa hindi ba ito scammer. Tawagin na lang natin scammer, no? Identity thief. Okay? So caution. So how to do that? By the way, I'm just making this summary. We will have another episode, mga webinar, one by one for this, kasi marami mga case tayo study experience na we can interactive model, no? Ngayon, guide lang muna ito. Okay? So, what if ang individual SPE is Red Ribbon Apostel? So, again, we can always do, kahit saang planeta pa siya ngayon in the globe, no? We can always do online meeting sa principal who execute the SPE and the attorney in fact para kilala natin, makita natin in person. There's no more reason na you cannot meet online the registered owner, no? We have transaction in US, nag-online kami, even during closing, witness yung attorney in fact, witness yung seller na based in California, and we are here in Cebu, tsaka yung buyer, tsaka yung lawyer, no? So, everything can be done already online. Okay, so if it is SPA, hindi mo kilala sino nag-SPA, it's part of our practice also. We ask the name of the lawyer and the mobile number because tinatawagan namin yan, attorney, ikaw po ba ang nagnotaryo nitong SPA ni principal tsaka ni attorney in fact, no? So, at least alam natin. Next, pag ang seller is SEC, ba't kailangan natin anong part? Ang ginagawa kasi natin dito is SEC, tinatanong natin, dapat meron ba silang corporate board resolution tsaka secretary certificate authorizing certain director to engage in marketing, selling, signing any documents of that specific property. Dapat nandun lahat, no? Dapat hingan natin ng latest GIS, dapat hingan natin ng articles of and bylaws kasi doon natin malalaman yung GIS nila na latest tsaka yung kausap natin kung ano ba yung 2/3 votes ba kailangan to dispose property. So again, these are part of the kasi na-experience din natin to na isa lang pala yung chairman of the board lang pala ang gustong magbenta. Yung iba ayaw pala. Mahaba na yung na effort namin in marketing that property, no? So medyo nagpagod tayo, hindi natuloy yun. Okay? So please, we need to due diligence if it's easy, kumpletuhin din natin. Next, geodetic surveyor. Ba't kailangan natin ang service ng geodetic surveyor? Because if we're selling property, lalo na Roland, we need, bago tayo magbayaran, part of our due diligence is yung relocation survey. Why? Para ma-address natin kung wala bang concern sa boundaries. Kasi pag may mga overlapping yan, then nagtapos na, mahirap na. So I encountered 3 transaction already na there is an overlapping sa bakod, no? So pina-address ko muna sa seller, naglagay pa kami ng mga retention kasi bahay talaga, 1/3 sa bahay pumasok sa property line. So negligence din ng seller natin at that time na it's been there for 40 years. Pinsan kasi niya may-ari ng bahay. So again, mahabang story yan, no? Tsaka yung mga road network subdivision, yun pala, hindi pala approved subdivision plan. Kaya mahirap yung road right of way. Physically, visual, merong road, pero yun pala, registered pa ng private lot. Wala ngang annotation sa title na it is perpetual road right of way. So may mga maraming senaryo na dyan. Yung dating nagbigay ng 1.5 sa kanan, 1.5 sa left, latter part, binenta na ni kanan yung property niya, sinama niya yung 1.5 na road right of way. So we experienced that thing, no? So again, pag yung mga property natin is uphill, downhill, lalo na sa mga Santa Lucia project ng mga mountain overlooking, downhill, part of it, tupo. Kasi if you're building a nice house, yun pala sobrang clip downhill, baka hindi siya feasible sa drawing sa plano mo. Kaya importante, bago ka magbayaran, gagastos ka na lang. Geodetic surveyor for relocation tsaka tupo, maybe around 20 to 25,000. It's better than before you make a final decision. Now, planning zoning board. Ba't kailangan natin pumunta doon? Because like for example, you're buying property, mandate ng kliyente mo is, Sam, I want to buy a commercial, industrial property, gawan ko ng warehouse may sa Mandawi area. But yun pala yung area na in-offer mo, pag pasok mo doon, zone pala siya as residential, hindi pwede magtayo ng warehouse. Naku, lagot ka. Meron pang mga agricultural land, binibenta natin sa developer, yun pala, yung agricultural na yan, irrigated, hindi siya pwedeng i-rezone to residential or commercial. Naku, lagot ka. Kaya, again, to all our enterprising friends, no, na lalo na ngayon, I'm looking a lot in the commercial and the residential side, big Rolands. Kasama po namin hinihingi natin ito sa assessor. Since nag-enterprising kayo, mga brokers, agents, na please pakisama na lang na certification from your assessors na ito are already, kumbaga sa land use nila classified na for commercial, residential, and gano'n. Pero yung tax deck hindi lang binago. So okay, so very important po ito. Tsaka road widening. Dapat malaman din natin sa LGU, local LGU natin, if it's a barangay road, na meron pa bang upcoming na widening. Kasi na-experience ko yan dito sa Cebu na one-way yung road, one-way ha, tsaka ano na siya, 6 meters na one-way. Yun pala, tertiary road pa siya. Meron palang upcoming widening gawing -2 sa left and right gawing 10. So, again, dapat meron tayo, alam natin yan. Then, if it is highway, dapat always kasama sa ano natin, clearance from DP na is there upcoming widening. Better meron tayo kasama kaysa babalikan ka ng buyer mo. Sam, I bought this one. Yun pala may widening, -7 meters on my side, tsaka sidewalk pa 3. Ang deep natin ng binili, deep natin lalim is only 15, so 5 na lang natira ng property line ko. Setback pa tayo sa likod. So, mahirap magkaganon, no? So, dapat dyan palang alam na natin. Okay? LGU. If we are buying property na mga income generating property, like one time we purchased a commercial property in Naga, no? So, kasama natin check sa LGU yung mga, kasi we are assuming the operation of the business. So, check natin, updated ba sila sa business tax nila? Baka mayroon silang mga open cases sa LGU. Dapat ipasettle natin yan. Yun bang mga empleyado niya, are you planning to absorb? Kami, inabsorb namin portion of that employees to continue the operation, no? Change management. So, pinabayaran namin yan sa previous operator seller, then pinare-apply namin as new application. New ano, so again, your lawyer can handle all the documentation. Lalo na baka may mga open case pa yan. Kaya dapat new employees sila or else you will continue the number of your service nila. Lagot ka on their retirement, dami, mahaba yung babayaran mong retirement benefits, number of years of practice, no? So again, LGU, very important, check the open cases, unpaid taxes and others, labor, pag-ibig, PhilHealth, and then third party dapat, if you want to rehire some of those, rehire them as a new employee. Pirmado, dapat may quick claim na sila na they are fully paid by the previous employer. Okay? Now, DNR, marami sa atin nagbebenta ng mga mountain para for gawing mountain resort or farm or etc. Alam natin sa Pilipinas marami tayong tinatawag na protected landscape. Pag sa mountain, meron tayong mga timberland, watersheds, or military reserve, which I encountered that in Mindanao, no? Dapat hingi tayo ng clearance dyan sa DNR. Okay? Humingi tayo ng clearance sa DNR. If that property is also END, Earnable Disposable. So, dapat pumunta tayo sa DNR. Ito po, kailangan dalhin lang natin yung dokumento natin doon, tanong tayo sa DNR. Lalo na sa mga, I think I experienced this also in Palawan and in Jensan and some part of Mindanao, yung mga IP, indigenous people, dapat hingi din tayo ng clearance if the property is out, walang indigenous people claim, anong tawag, I forgot the exact, no? Parang certification na walang indigenous people claim, I forgot that one, maybe I will research that again, no? But IP, dapat their area na may mga indigenous people, careful din tayo. It's isama natin sa due diligence yan. Now, family tree. Very important pag ang nagbenta sa atin is siblings lang, we need to make sure na full disclosure sila ilan yung siblings. Yun pala, hindi nila sinabi meron pa silang anak sa labas. No? Yun di sinabi na yung namatay, may anak, hindi nila in-involve na lang. So, dapat malinaw, malinis yan. So, meron kami experience dyan yan, mga apo na ang nagbebenta. So, super dami nila, pina-advise na namin sa korte na court declaration of heirs, no? So your lawyer can guide that, we can guide that para sigurado ma-cordon na these are the legitimate legal heirs of the property of senior, so and so. Court declaration of heirs, tsaka court appointee as administrator of the property to handle to the marketing, selling, signing, the liquidation of the asset, no? Mas maganda daan na lang natin sa korte pag masyadong marami. Lalo na yung pag may mga case pa sa nag-aaway, sino yung legitimate heirs of the property ni Juan de la Cruz Sr., no? So, mas maayos, daan natin sa korte. Advice natin. Kasi hindi madaling ibenta. And we have that here, I think 3 or 4 properties in Cebu so far as what I know. Na hanggang ngayon, for my last 15 years in practice, hindi para resolve ang case nila, mga heirs. Now, this is another important na palagi natin nakakalimutan if we are selling property with improvements, with commercial property, lalo na yung mga with leasing property, no? Dapat when we buy it from the previous owner, kasama natin hingin yung occupancy permit. Kasi pag nagpa-lease na tayo, hinihingi yan during the business permit, no? We encounter that now. I myself, I have a problem on that. Yung iba pala, minsan, tax desk, they call it tax desk as built. Kasi sila lang nagtayo ng mga bahay-bahay nila, no? Again, what's the reason here? Dapat when you purchase property, hingi nyo kasama yung occupancy permit, part of your due diligence. Tsaka, blueprint of the building. Because we buy an apartment series, nagka-problema kami, hinahanap namin yung septic tank, kung saan pupunta yung mga waste. So, saan yung lead yan? Let's say, yung electrical wiring, yung plumbing, so everything, dapat malaman yun pa, biglang nagdukduk, ano ba yun sa dukduk Tagalog, nagpapanday ka ng biglang may wire para sa loob ng semento na yun, no? So, dapat alam natin. Okay, so isasama natin sa due diligence when we buy property. Hingin natin yung occupancy permit tsaka building blueprint. I think OBO also have a copy of this, but maganda yung in cooperation pa tayo sa seller. Kasi pag tayo-tayo na, mahirap dapat in cooperation pa ng seller. Okay, so that ends my tips on real estate due diligence based on my experience. Baka in the future meron tayong madagdag dyan. If you have some idea pa, please paki-chat na lang kung meron kayo. Mamaya we will discuss that our Q&A portion. Our next part is, isasama ko din dito yung broker agreements and sales transaction. Bakit? Kasi minsan sa mga transaction natin with fellow broker like I myself, I always recommend na pag may mga property, mga enterprising agents sa Palawan, nag-offer sa atin ng mga nice, affordable property in Palawan, I always recommend them to go with our fellow brokers, licensed broker in Palawan. Para si broker A based in Palawan will do the initial due diligence on the property. Then tayo, we can help on marketing. Because if I am broker in Cebu, how can I be efficient in doing due diligence? I'm not based in that area, no? How can? So it's better to collaborate talaga in the license to license broker in every places. Again, to our friends na very enterprising, it's not na ayaw namin makipag-deal sa inyo direkta. But based on our discussion now, alam nyo hindi madali. Even you yourself now, alam nyo hindi madali mag-due diligence and you cannot do it your own. And legally, you're not allowed also to do it based on our law, RESA law. Kaya makiusap lang kami sa inyo na you are still welcome to do livelihood. Parang relationship ng accountant tsaka bookkeeper. Go to the nearest broker in your area and collaborate. Sorry. Collaborate, cooperate. Like if you are from Bohol, agent, please collaborate, cooperate with brokers based in Bohol. And tell them that you know a broker from Cebu looking property. Para we can collaborate broker to broker. And then broker to broker, we will sign our own MOU, MOA, kung ano yung comfortable ng dalawang grupong party. No? Kasi minsan, kahit na licensed broker kami pareho, pero it's our first time to know each other, we can do our own side MOU. So, seller, listing side broker, buyer side broker, 50-50 kami. So, on my buyer side, kami na bahala. On the listing side broker, kayo na rin bahala sa grupo nyo. But dito din sa broker agreement transaction, mai-registered na natin sino yung buyer ko. Then mai-registered na rin natin ang detalye ng property. Mai-registered na rin natin ano ba ang trabaho, responsibility ng listing broker. Ano ba ang trabaho, responsibility ng buyer side broker. Dapat nandito po. Kaya I'm doing this kasi maganda kasi na yung wavelength natin in the industry practice magkapareho kasi minsan, sorry to say, I encounter some transaction na yung listing side walang ginawang due diligence. Sorry ha, kaya nga I'm sharing this because I want to inform our colleagues in the industry if we are representing on the listing side broker, it is our job na bago natin i-market ang property, dapat hindi natin guaranteed, no? Kasi tao lang tayo, dapat 99% alam natin it is legally and feasible to market that property. Kaya nga I'm sharing these tips of due diligence because this is again the first initial round of due diligence, trabaho po ng listing broker. Do not advertise, market, share that property if you are not sure na malinis po ang property. Ready, marketable, ready to sell anytime. Okay, so or else ikaw mismo nagpagod ka lang, securing everything, nandito na yung buyer, mapapahiya lang tayo, both broker, no? So, kahit nakatiwala mo pa, pinsan mo pa yung may-ari, marami na, ako mismo, biktima na ako na naniwala ako kasi pares pres pa yung registered owner. So, I become a little bit relaxed on my due diligence. So, I tell you, walang kumpiyansa. We need to make sure. But again, tao tayo, alam ko, minsan nagkamali lang tayo, but it's acceptable. But again, we need to do our part. So again, to all our enterprising colleagues listening here, mga referral agents, this is the reason why we need to work with our licensed broker. You are welcome to do the business, but again, I advise you to collaborate. Mahirap na yung kunting commission natin, magkamali tayo, masud pa tayo, ma-file case pa tayo, masampahan pa tayo ng kaso ng mga buyer. At don't presume na hindi kayo hahabulin. Kasi kung habulin si broker, hahabulin din kayo because you have document, you have interaction with your fellow brokers and agent. Kasama po tayo lahat as principal and accomplice in that transaction. Okay, so again, I'm not, kumbaga, hindi ko po tinatakot ang mga partners natin na non-licensed. I am just encouraging nanawagan ako, please collaborate with licensed broker so that smooth po ang transaction natin. Now, let's go to the next. So, again, dito, no, these are, you can have this, Google nyo lang yan, brokers agreement sales transaction, nandiyan na yan sa Google, no? We can have that, every broker, they have their own templates or lawyer can assist this one. Now, authority to sell, ibabalik ko po ito. How important is the authority to sell? This is mandated by a memo, matagal na po ito ng PRC natin na mandatory compliance for authority to sell, to negotiate or sell for real estate property. Bago po tayo mag-market, dapat tayo on the listing site broker or we need to secure this one. There are several ways to do this ATS, but importantly, we can secure. Para ma-secure natin na walang misrepresentation. Tama yung commission, tama yung selling price, kasi minsan nagkamali pala, minsan sabihin na bago isip bigla ng seller. Some who told you na, sample lang to ha, some who told you na 800 peso lang per square meter yung land namin, yung raw land namin. What we agreed before is 1,000 per square meter. But if you have ATS, mapakita mo, boss, ito po yung nakasulat dito. You advise us, ito po 800. So, kung nagbago po ang price nyo, then we will adjust. Okay? At least, hindi tayo lalabas na sinungaling to our buyer. So, importante din dyan yung mga terms condition, ng mga taxes, sinong magbabayad. Dapat nandyan lahat, no? So, again, ATS. So, how to secure ATS? Maraming paraan po. We can discuss that. Every broker may paraan. Now, I am sharing you also this format. Maraming format ng authority to sell. Maraming format. Bawat broker, kanya-kanya po ng format ng authority to sell. But in one of my format, sinama ko dyan kasi again, alam natin marami tayong mga enterprising agents na non-licensed, mga referral agents. Alam natin takot din sila kasi mga biktima din sila ng mga ibang kasamahan na sabihin natin ibang transaction nila na broker na hindi daw sila binigyan ng tama ng mga agreement nila or yung binigay daw nila sa broker yung listing then nawala na sila sa hangin kasi yung broker dumiretso na ngayon sa list property owner. Kaya in this format ginawa ko na authority to sell or lease date. This is to authorize broker Samuel O. Lau and pwedeng isulat dyan pangalan ni Juan de la Cruz. Si Juan de la Cruz is not a licensed agent. He is one of my example referral agents or relatives ng property owner or kaibigan ng property owner. So, pinasama ko pangalan nila para they have that confident naman na, oh, dyan pa lang kasama ka na. Okay? So bakit very important? This is one of what we call black and white. Para hindi matakot, mawala sa hangin yung mga enterprising agents natin. Pangalawa, paalala ko po sa mga enterprising agents, non-licensed practitioner. If you're doing your own ETS without a licensed broker on that ETS, sooner pag nag-transact kayo, then tinabla kayo. Maraming tumatawag sa akin based on my blog, no? Mga tumatawag humingi ng tulong. Again, kahit may authority to sell kayo, kung hindi sinunod ng property owner yung usapan nyo na commission, can you sue? Pwede nyo bang mahabol yung commission nyo? Well, ito mangyayari. Paano nyo habulin? You will file case. Pag nag-file case, anong kaso mo? Commission. So, that alone, pwede kang balikan ng property owner, pwede kang takutin na, you are practicing real estate, you're not a license. Akala kasi namin, lisensyado ka, hindi ka pala lisensyado, kaya I'm giving you finder's fee lang. Hindi yung buong commission. Sorry po mga kaibigan natin, enterprising agents, no? Pwede po hindi kayo bigyan ng totoong commission kasi hindi kayo lisensyado. And you cannot go after legally. Kasi if you go after legally, it is just proof, evidence na nag-practice kayo ng real estate. So, marami na pong tumatawag sa akin humingi ng tulong and sabi ko wala akong magawa because that's transacted already at saka on your usapan wala po. Ayaw po din to come in on the middle. Wala pong licensed broker on your transaction. So, yun. Kaya hindi po kayo mabiktima kasi alam namin marami na po nabiktima ng mga enterprising agents, mga referral agents. Isama nyo na lang sa ETS nyo yung mga kaibigan yung licensed broker para kayo, you can work in tandem, in partnership, in cooperation. Para pag tinabla kayo, it is your licensed broker who will send statement to collect the commission. Pag ayaw magbigay, it is your licensed broker who can file case or can annotate that. No? Okay, may legal side na dyan. But I'm point it here, it is only the licensed practitioner who can do real estate transaction and have the rights to claim broker commission or broker's PF. So again, let's work together. Okay? Yun lang masabi ko. So again, 2 slide more. This event is organized, sponsored by our other company, the PHMLS. We have our MLS website for individual brokers, for your own realty or for your own organization. This was done last week. If hindi kayo naka-attend, panoorin nyo na lang latter part sa YouTube ko. So, we also offer a free subdomain package for 3 months up before you upgrade to subscription. This is MLS para in real time we can do collaboration. In our website, every subscriber you have your own website. So in real time exchange po yung listing natin from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. So kahit nasa Dipolog ka, you can market Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao listing in collaboration with other listing licensed broker. This is exclusive only for licensed broker, licensed appraiser, licensed real estate consultant. So to our licensed salesperson or referral agent, you can collaborate, work with your licensed broker para yung listing nyo ma-post, may submit dito. Okay? If you wanted to avail our free 3 months subdomain package para matry nyo muna yung website, please email me your full name, mobile number, email address, PRC number. Email to lausamuel@yahoo.com. So, to watch our webinar last week, it is already in our YouTube channel. Just visit sorry, not Facebook. Mali ako ha. Sorry, not Facebook. It's youtube.com/lausamuel. Again, that's youtube.com/lausamuel. And tignan nyo lang doon, marami din tayong mga episode in Bisaya, in Tagalog, Taglish, no? So, but again, look for scaling up your MLS multiple listing sharing tips for real estate broker. I'll post that link also. I think if you browse our chat box, The link is already in the early part of our chat box about this webinar. Okay. Now, before to end, it's almost 9. As I promised, I want to end on time. Allow me to end this webinar with this. Allow me to borrow from our Rotarians. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do in our real estate practice, dapat tandaan natin. Let's ask ourselves, is it the truth? Tama? Totoo ba yung lahat ng mga sinasabi natin? Is it fair to all concerned? Yung mga ginagawa ba natin transaction, fair to everybody? Hindi ba tayo ng lamang? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendship? Dapat yung transaction natin, it's not a one-time, big-time deal. It must be a continuous collaboration because as a broker, in my practice for 15 years, not even 5%. Hindi pa nga umabot na 5 transaction. In all, not even 5% nasolo ko yung transaction. It always with fellow broker, it always with fellow agents. Therefore, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Dapat beneficially, dapat win-win, no? Para tuloy-tuloy yung relationship natin. Okay, so again, good morning everyone. This is again your real estate coach, Samuel Lau. My company is Samuel O. Lau and Associates. So you can coordinate, communicate with me. Mobile, Viber, WhatsApp at my Globe number. That's my email. And you can also visit our website, phmls.com. I'm more into practice here in Cebu, specializing in commercial real estate, industrial real estate, and big Roland, and of course, my very love specialty, real estate investment. So if you want to collaborate with us, just contact us. Okay, so again, I'll end this presentation and I open the chat group for our Q&A. Okay, good morning again. So let's browse our chat and allow me to adjust para you can now allow yourself to unmute if you have some questions. But before we do Q&A, let's read some of our, baka may mga questions na dito, no? So on the early part of our chat box, nag-post ako dito na yung webinar link natin. I-repost ko na lang about the MLS para everybody. Then I invite everybody also to post your full name, your area of location of your practice, your mobile number, your email para our friends, participants here, they can collaborate with you. Baka merong gustong broker from Laguna, Luzon, South Luzon, merong from Bulacan, North Luzon, or from NCR, Metro Manila, or meron from Mindanao here, no? So again, let's collaborate. That's the purpose of this webinar and MLS natin. Okay, so let's browse questions here. Questions from Samuel, okay? If personally owned, okay, question lang sir. If personally owned by one individual ang property, is it non-VAT ang TIN number? If corporation owned, batable ba? Okay, Sam, yung question mo, ang sagot ko dito, as my advice is, ipabalidate natin ang TIN number ng registered owner, no? The seller itself. Kasi as I mentioned earlier, I have 3 transaction already na individual siya. Kaso, TIN number niya naging batable. Why? Yung individual lot owner, we sold around 1,800,000 lang yon. Ginamit pala niya yung TIN number niya sa rental property niya, which is registered as single proprietorship. So, that the same TIN number is engaged in real estate into rental properties. Kaya, pati yung asset niya na nag-unload, nagbenta siya, naging batable na. Okay? But again, the right answer dyan, Sam, is validate the TIN number sa BIR. Another question. What if one of the registered owner siblings is already in America, American citizen, he is illegally allowed to sell the property? Okay. In fact, this is among siblings, Sam. Among siblings, let's say ang registered owner, nangyayari ito at the registered owner is yung parents then let's say 5 siblings, then karamihan dyan nasa US na, nag-change na into American citizen, let us say 2 of the siblings, so they can execute is special power of attorney to one of the siblings here para to sign in their behalf. It can be in Red Ribbon or Apostel, no? So again, yes, they can sell. Hindi din pwede na hindi na sila isama. They need to be involved because they are still part co-owner of that common property. Okay. If we can ask also legally, kasi pag it is only individual, one owner, ikaw lang pangalan, owner of that property, then nag-convert ka into American citizen, then under the law, I forgot, may ilang months ka lang, you're given something months na dapat, because as a foreigner, you cannot own real land, only condominiums. So dapat you need to sell that property, that lot or house and lot, no? So once you change your nationality, kung mag-dual citizen ka, walang problem. Good morning, sorry to leave. Okay, okay, next. Okay. Sir, in that case, salesperson can do transaction, right, since license naman under the broker. Okay, a salesperson can do transaction. Yes, you can do transaction, salesperson. But it doesn't mean kasi may lisensyado ka na salesperson, you do it alone. That ang ayaw namin. Okay, it is, sabi ko nga, is it fair to all concerned? Binigyan ka ng authority ng licensed broker mo, sinama ka sa livelihood ng real estate practice, tinuruan ka, you learn it, and now nag-enterprise ka ngayon ng general brokerage, and you are not informing your licensed broker. Pag sa project selling, binibigyan ka ng 2.5 to 4%, maliit na lang override ng broker mo, lisensya pa niya nakataya, OR pa niya, siya pa yung may binabayaran sa BIR, sa LGU, siya pa yung may OPEX. Pero pagdating sa side business ng brokerage, yung iba kasi nating mga salesperson, I'm not talking you, yung iba kasi, I myself, I experienced that one. I mentor a salesperson, patago silang nagbebenta ng mga side real estate transaction brokerage. Hindi ako pinapaalam. Pero nung magka-problema, sinabi nila, I'm under realty option, under broker Samuel Lau. Don't, kumbaga, tinatakot nila yung kalaban nila na tinabla sila. Nagsumbong sa akin. Hindi ko sila, honestly, what I did, I terminate that salesperson. I did not engage myself in that transaction. From the start, you did not inform me that transaction. You only inform me on the middle kasi nagkagulo na kayo. Sorry. This is your first and last transaction as my salesperson also. Tinanggal ko siya in my office. Why? You cannot practice without the supervision of your broker. Nandyan yan sa Rizal Law. So again, let's collaborate. Kumbaga, win-win. It must be fair, beneficial to everybody, hindi one side lang. Okay? So that's my advice. Thank you. Next question. Okay, nandito. How to check property for sale for pending ongoing case. Okay, may tanong dito, how to check a property for sale as a pending case ongoing. Okay, dala ka ng certified true copy mo ng title, dalhin mo doon sa clerk of court kung saan sakop yung property. Para tanong mo doon if this property, it's not involved in any case litigation, kung wala bang kasong na-file. Kung saan located ang property mo. Like for example, kasi iba-iba, like Cebu, it's Cebu, clerk of court. Talisay, Miglanilla, it's in ang property in Miglanilla kasi wala silang nasa Talisay ang clerk of court. So, if one co-owner seller do not want, okay, if one of the co-owner sellers do not wanted to sell, okay po, mahirap po yan, no? Lalo na co-ownership siblings. So, dapat upuan po natin yan. So, halimbawa, case scenario lang tayo, 3 sila, yung isa ayaw. Kung ma-property, kaya pa naman hatiin, so, ihati na lang. So, yung dalawa na willing to sell, magkatabi. It happened to us in Bugo, Cebu. 4 magkapatid. The property is around 300 square meter, maliit lang more or less. Kaso we're interested to buy kasi adjacent to us, tsaka yung likod nabili na ng kliyente ko. So we want to buy that frontage para to widen our frontage kasi tindahan ng ito tayo, department store. So yung isa ayaw magbenta. So ang ginawa namin, yung tatlong magkapatid na willing to sell, magkadikit. Yung pang-apat na ayaw magbenta, siya yung nasa dulo para yung tatlo when we buy, it will annex to our property. So pinapa-approve subdivision plan po yan para yung one title mahati sa apat na title. And yes, may benta po yan. Good morning, Sam. Thank you for knowledge. Manadilim for those. Okay, question. Okay, I think I addressed already our question in the chat box. Time check, we are 9 o'clock, 9:04. So we can still entertain next 5 minutes. Pag may mga questions kayo, you can now unmute your mic. Okay, so again, we have 67 in our, wait. Thank you again thank you for attending our webinar. Next Tuesday, bago sa lahat, I'm inviting you to visit the webinar last week, which I uploaded in here, the link, YouTube. You can copy paste that one. Panoorin nyo na lang yung MLS natin na webinar. So sa lahat ng mga subscriber po ng MLS natin, papadalhan po namin kayo ng invitation for our Zoom training. Paano mag-navigate, paano gamitin yung MLS website natin. Okay? We will have a training. And to our friends also dito, alam ko meron tayong mga local board chapter. We can also send you proposal kung gusto nyo. We can create kumbaga internal MLS sa isang chapter. Parang like ako, Sereb. We can do serebmls.com. Let's say, Cagayan, corebmls.com. That can help attract membership to your local board, maintain good retention to your member kasi may activity. Tsaka it can help you also in do collection kasi pag hindi siya nagbayad on time or maybe in the first quarter, cut off, will be a member in good standing, pwedeng mag-offline yung account niya. So, it helps. It gives value-added service to your membership. Tsaka, mura yun because ano ba ito lumabas? May somebody, hold on, paano ba ito? Stop share. Hello, naka-share screen po kayo. Ano to? Okay, sorry.
Oh, tsaka ito, yung ano.
Okay. Okay, sorry for that. So, okay, you know, just watch the MLS web recorded in the YouTube. So, okay, you have any other questions? Sarah, you have question, Signet, no? Yung Signet natin, Sarah, it's different with our, Signet is, it is subscribed, it's really for broker to buyer platform. Broker to buyer, you advertise para maghanap ng mga buyer. And Signet is an online brokerage firm namin na we bring buyer to you. So our MLS, PHMLS is for broker to broker and broker to buyer. Lahat ng subscriber magkakaroon kayo ng sarili niyong website. So just watch, I advise you to watch lang the recorded video. Okay, so again, I think no more questions. Thank you again, everybody, for attending our webinar. So next Tuesday, we will be announcing our next webinar topic. I'll need to finalize lang yung speaker natin kung matuloy. So again, thank you so much. And please, you have my number also. If you feel to chat here, you can text me so I can send you of the recorded version of our presentation. So good morning, everyone, and thank you. Allow me to end our webinar.
Yan. Ito.